invisible women, Bigfoot hunters, murderous robot mascots, and a surprisingly busy year for Megan Fox. We run down the weirdest movies of 2019 and answer the question,
fuck is this?
2020 styles all the way.
Hey, baby.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And
wow, you're coming out the gate hot.
Right here. Ooh.
New year, new you.
New inflection.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. It's gonna be talking
Welcome back to the fuck is this?
Welcome back. Get ready for an entire year of me talking.
I'm really doing this funny voice. I think I can maintain it all year.
It's like an off-brand walking. Welcome back. I don't know.
Back to the fuck is this?
Yes. You want to do it? This is the year where Jameson does the introduction. There you go.
Oh shit.
No, you can't. It's my thing. I'm already taking it. Back.
Introduction in the bag. We got that's it.
Welcome back to the fuck is this, ladies and gentlemen, and however else you wish to self-identify. I'm your host, Kaz Lescard, and with me always is my co-host, Jameson Rafter.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jameson Rafter.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We've established that.
Thanks for that solid intro, Kaz. You left me with nothing to work on.
Always. Our last episode was before Christmas, and a day before I got on a plane to go away, and this is the first time we've seen each other, Jameson. So
yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
How was your holiday? How was your Christmas and your New Year?
It was pretty good. Very low-key for me this year. I went to my hometown of Richmond, where I hung out with my mom and my sisters. I stayed there for a couple of nights, which is just, good old family time. Had Christmas dinner at my mom's place, Christmas dinner at my dad's place. Just, real chill times of, like hanging out, watching hockey, taking the dog for a walk, and then just stayed in my old room until it was time for me to vacate it so we could have our relatives from Calgary fly in.
Fun.
Yeah, my cousin and his two little girls and his wife.
Oh, a whole family.
The whole family came out. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, and those little girls, I tell you, 6 and 4, they are
it's an energetic age.
Very energetic and a very blunt way of speaking for these two little girls. The very first night that they were in, they were on Calgary time and they came in super late.
Yeah.
And, we're all just, chit-chatting in the family room, and then, the oldest kind of gets up and says, "This is boring," and leaves the room. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I want to be that age again where I just, don't give a fuck. And just, whenever I'm just, not having, just be like, yeah, basic. And then leave.
You could try. The next party you go to. You just wait until there's a moment of calm and you just, stand up in the middle of the room, everyone's playing, Cards Against Humanity. You just go, this is boring!
This
and just walk off. And we never saw Jameson again for the rest of that night.
I try to maintain my friendships, but man, to go back in time, everyone is oh yeah, I would do high school all over again. I'd have a whole lot more confidence. No, I would just be super lippy and be that awesome 5-year-old super sassy self again.
It doesn't transfer. When you stop being cute, it doesn't really work all that well. You kind of just turn into an asshole, really, when you try to do it in your adult life.
True. Well, when I stop being cute, it'll be a problem.
Oh, I see. All right. Cool.
Anyway, how about you, Kaz? How was your holiday?
Sitting with that awkward moment, it's not does he want me to pay him a compliment?
No. I'm full of myself enough already.
My holiday was great. It was actually really nice. Yeah, we got through Christmas. I went on a vacation with my family. We got through it all in one piece, and aside from a few hairy moments where we sort of got on each other's nerves.
As bound to happen.
Bound to happen when you go on several flights throughout the course of 1 week. It was actually a lovely family get-together. I think I've realized that there's something about airports. I love my mom. My mom's great, and we'd have this drive down to the airport, and everyone's pleasant, and the traffic is fine, and everyone's saying nice things to each other. You get to the airport, all of a sudden it's like, Cass, take your iPad out of your bag. Cass, you're going through security. You have to take your iPad out of your bag. I don't even have an iPad. I think she's talking about my laptop, but it's just
it's that mom brain where I'm just gonna use the shorthand version of what I think that is.
I've been on an airplane before. I've been on lots of airplanes before, but for some reason my mom enters an airport and we're all 5 again.
Yeah, and I know Heathrow Airport in England, that's
a big airport.
That's a big fucking airport, and
everything's very far away in that airport.
Yeah, there's 2 separate buildings for it. I think Toronto is like that as well, where like
okay.
the gates go something like A, B, C, and then in another building it's D, E, and then the other building is like F, G, and like, yeah.
You check your ticket and it says Q.
Yeah. Oh God.
I got a Windsor.
Yeah.
But we went to Krakow, which is this magical fairy tale land place where you get around on horse-drawn carriage. It's a very Catholic city, so Christmas was everywhere, but it was nice, very clean, cheap. Poland is very cheap.
Really?
Yes. Dinner for 4 people, $80 Canadian.
Wow.
Go to Poland.
That is not bad.
It is affordable. Mm-hmm. It's pleasant. It's very clean.
Yeah, and that's not even like relative to the rest of Europe. It's just like, oh wow, good.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very clean. I was thinking to myself, why is it so clean? And then I realized there's horse-drawn carriages everywhere.
So like it has to be clean.
They print out the pressure washers first thing in the morning when no one's around. But no, it was lovely. I really want to go back. We only went down there for a weekend. I want to go down. I want to spend more time down there. I learned a lot about my heritage, which was really cool. I learned more about why my family is Polish, but we don't really speak Polish or know anything about Poland. I learned lots about my grandfather and about my great-grandfather.
Was this like tracing back like family ancestry? Like
a little bit. It was
like
just
to the old family home.
It was just stories that they knew that they had never really told me. My favorite story, I won't go into it too much because we want to get on to the episode, but my favorite story that I learned while I was down there was, because it's Poland, there are statues and there's iconography of Pope John Paul II everywhere. Mm-hmm. And my mom told me this story wherein I found out that not only did my grandfather go to the same school that Pope John Paul II did when they were children, but during a game of football, my grandfather kicked the Pope in the nuts.
Nice. Nice.
It's one of those stories where I'm just like, why the fuck haven't you told me that before? I would tell that at every cocktail party I've ever been to.
That guy, kicked him in the balls.
He said,
he cried too.
I'm the reason he became the Pope, because after me, you couldn't get with the ladies anymore. So. Yeah. Alright, well welcome to a very special episode of the podcast, a very different sort of episode. We're not actually watching a movie today.
What? We're not.
We're not. Feigned ignorance, as if we didn't plan this out weeks in advance. You need to go bigger.
What? What?
That much better, yes. More jowl shake.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it is 2020. 2019 is a distant memory, and something that is all over the internet are lists. People are going list crazy, particularly right now, because it's the end of the decade, so we're seeing even more lists.
Everyone's like top 10 shows of the decade, top 10 movies, top 10 songs or whatever,
Right, and I figured, well, we're a show on the internet, so we need to follow suit. So instead of a best of list or a worst of list...
I was gonna say, if I was supposed to provide like a top 10 list of like things of mine for the last year, I haven't done it.
No, I'm still working on
Get
mine.
your list ready, Jameson.
You're an internet celebrity now, Jameson. You need lists.
Good lord, I've been putting shit on the internet for like over 10 years now, and man, I haven't cracked that celebrity bubble yet, so thank you guys.
I just started, and I've been doing lists for years. See, I did it backwards, is what I did. Mm-hmm. So this isn't actually necessarily a list. It's not numbered or anything, but what we're gonna do is we're going to round down a whole bunch of movies. Our podcast is about the weirdest movies that are out there. The weird, the bizarre, the obscure. So I thought it might be fun to have kind of a more relaxed episode, possibly a shorter episode depending on how much we end up bullshitting.
Yeah.
That just runs down the weirdest movies of 2019. And what I'm going to do is I just have a whole bunch of trailers for these movies all queued up, so I'm just going to give them brief introductions, and then I'm going to show Jameson the trailer, and then we're just going to talk about them briefly and just riff and see if we can come up with anything funny. I've seen some of these. I haven't seen all of these. These are just the weirdest movies I could find that came out last year.
This is like a lightning round of our regular episode.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, these are movies.
This is like the fuck is this on the go?
Yeah.
You just like little bite-sized segments of like our regular like feature episode.
If we were a little bit better at this reviewing thing, we were a little bit better better at editing our thoughts into bite-sized digestible chunks.
It would be this.
Other than, it's a hangout podcast, whatever. That's what we styled ourselves as.
You've been listening to it this long. You kind of know what we're about.
Okay, so let's go right into it. I'm also going to brag to all of you here.
No, you get total bragging rights on this. This is an awesome.
So we're doing it. We're doing this at my house. So let me paint the picture for you. I am hella broke right now. I have no money, but it's perfectly fine because for some reason right now, so many of my friends have decided to be so generous and just give me toys.
We feel sorry for you.
I have so many toys right now. I never need to leave my house. So, a friend of the podcast, Stephen Beaver, gave me his old TV, which is a huge-ass TV because he got a bigger TV. So,
as what happens.
Yes, and so it's not that I'm, this always sounds like I'm complaining, like, but,
it's a new TV that I got for free, however,
there was one
I don't like it.
No, well, because my old TV was a smart TV.
Yes.
And this is just a TV. This is just a monitor. So, I thought to myself, well, I need to figure out how to get, like, my streaming on here. I need to figure out how to get Netflix on this. So our mutual friend Harrison Mooney has an Apple TV, and I've been over to his house and I've seen how it works, and it's really great. And so I texted him. I said, "Hey, how much was that Apple TV?" And he said, "I'll just give you my old one because I bought a new one." I came back from Christmas. Motherfucker bought me a brand new one.
Really?
Brand new, in the box, shrink wrapped, $200 Apple TV. My friend
I haven't gotten shit from Harrison. What the hell? Harrison Mooney, I'm calling you out. I don't care if you got 2 kids. You gotta throw a little charity your old buddy Jameson's way.
I do babysit.
Oh, I see.
I do babysit. And by babysit, I sit on their couch and watch their TV while they go out on a date, and if earthquake, grab a baby.
Yeah.
That's my the one rule that I have to remember. If earthquake, grab a baby.
Yeah.
So.
Kids in bed, you're on the couch.
Luckily nothing happens. Yeah, so, my setup is dope now, so this is so much easier. I can just scroll through this. I can scroll through the YouTube app. Alright, cool. Anyway, now that I'm done bragging, let's move on to the first movie. Now, no list about weird movies in 2019 would be complete if we didn't talk about 2 movies in particular. We're not going to spend a lot of time on them because everyone on the internet has talked about these movies to death. But if we're making a list, we got to talk about these 2 movies.
Yeah, it's like a rite of passage.
So the first movie is Serenity.
Oh.
Good to see you, John. Took so long to find you. What do you say?
Say I'm not called John anymore.
My husband has never seen your face. You were right about him.
He's violent with you.
I want you to take him out on your boat and drop him in the ocean for the sharks.
I'm Plymouth. Everybody knows everything.
Well, it's kind of a big day tomorrow.
I know all about your big day. Feels like everybody knows something I don't.
Alright. What can you glean from that trailer?
Well, just on first impressions, cards on the table, I'm aware of the twist in this movie.
Right. As was I before I went to see this, unfortunately, because people were talking about the twist of this movie.
Gleaming from this trailer, first impressions, if I didn't know anything about it, I would be like, wow, that is an all-star cast. That is Matthew McConaughey. That is Anne Hathaway. That is Jimon Hansu. That is Diane Lane. That is, wow, this looks like a very Gone Girl-esque, heavy, gritty, crime drama about, intrigue and murder and everything like that.
Yeah, just like a good old-fashioned potboiler murder mystery.
But apparently it is incomprehensible and baffling. Having never seen it, but now, should we just talk about the twist?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. It's been almost an entire year, so we're gonna spoil all of these movies for you.
So I haven't seen the movie, but I'm aware of the twist, only because, in my day job, I work in a video game studio, and, spoiler alert, these guys are NPCs in a video game?
Right.
Yeah. And so this is almost like a Black Mirror-esque kind of movie?
Sort of, yeah. Very much. I think Black Mirror really seems to be the easy way to explain away just batshit ideas.
Yeah.
It's all like, it's like a Black Mirror episode. No, you just wrote a weird fucking script.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for those of you who have no idea what movie we're talking about, so Serenity is a movie where Matthew McConaughey plays a fisherman. I believe his name is Baker Dill, and there's this giant fish that he really wants to catch, and he never quite catch it, and he just spends his days in this...
General Sherman.
I think it does have a
or
name.
Moby Dick, or whatever.
It has a weird name, but I can't remember what it is. So we'll call it General Sherman, sure. So yeah, he hangs out at this beachside town. He does odd jobs. Every once in a while, he whores himself out to Diane Lane, who pays him money for sex.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, when failing to catch this fish, his ex-wife, Anne Hathaway, comes back into town, and she's now married to an abusive asshole played by Jason Clarke, and she wants to pay McConaughey a ton of money to kill this guy, take him out on the boat, take him fishing, and then murder him. And then you get all of this from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually... it is revealed, not even near the end of the movie, at like the middle
point,
of the movie,
yeah.
It is revealed that McConaughey, the town, Diane Lane, Anne Hathaway, everything are characters inside this Sims-like fishing video game. But it's not just that. The video game was coded and created by McConaughey's son, who is stuck in this relationship with his mom and his abusive stepdad, because in real life, McConaughey was a soldier in the army, and he's dead.
Okay.
So not only is McConaughey a video game character, he's dead also.
I see. And this is the son's way of, like, reconciling with his death, or...
somewhat.
Or, like, turning his father into something that he wasn't? Like, to have, like, a control over his destiny? I don't fucking know.
No.
This sounds like a ridiculous premise for a movie.
This movie is bonkers. The movie is crazy. It's, I'd actually say it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a fun, good, bad movie to sit down with some friends and watch, because it truly does get ridiculous. And once you figure out what's going on and more secrets get revealed, the implications that sort of waft in are just crazy. When you stop to consider what's going on. Yeah, like when you start poking
holes in the logic that this movie has, like, kind of wrote for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I've been meaning to actually check it out, because, like, I probably wouldn't have, like, gone out of my way to even, like, consider, like, watching this movie. But then when I found out that, like, oh, it's a bad movie, and it's for this reason, that it ties into video games this way, I was like, oh, well, now I should probably check this out, just to like, either hate watch it, or just to, like...
It is technically a video game movie.
Video game movie, yeah.
It is a video game movie written by someone who has never played a video game in their life.
Yeah, who based it off, like, pro bass fisher or something.
It's a fishing video
game. I know, right?
And, like, McConaughey's character in real life wasn't even a fisherman, so it's like, and then there's other weird implications where it's like, McConaughey and Anne Hathaway have sex in the movie, so it's like, is the kid coding his parents fucking? It's like a whole thing.
Okay,
yeah. So that's weird.
Huh.
And the other movie that...
Moving on.
Moving on.
So that's number 10. Number 9.
Yeah, there's slightly more than... We have to keep this going at a steady clip. Okay. Alright, so the other movie that I want to touch on briefly that everyone else on the internet has talked about at this point is the movie that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time, The Fanatic.
That's enough. I need to get an autograph. Don't let him do this to me. I'm a fan. I'm a #1 fan. Listen, pal. I don't know how you found me, but I don't ever want to see you in this neighborhood again. Help! I just wanted an autograph!
The long-awaited pairing of two-time Academy Award nominee John Travolta and Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst.
Well, I always have to remind myself, oh yeah, he's a director now.
He's directed, this is his third movie he's directed. He directed an indie drama called The Education of Charlie Banks, and he directed an Ice Cube football movie called The Long Shot.
Yeah, my initial impression on, like, a movie like that is, I think there's an interesting premise there. But I think it's going in the direction where, it's like John Travolta is this obsessed fan. He breaks into his celebrity obsession's house, and then it becomes like sort of like a Misery type movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. It's not too dissimilar when you really break it down to one of the biggest movies of 2019. It's pretty similar to Joker, kind of. It's clearly unhinged person who idolizes someone who's already famous and then goes way too far in trying to put themselves into their world.
Right. But I think like a good direction to take that in is he is this loner stalker type who breaks into his obsession's house. And then he finds out, this celebrity stalker, he has like sort of like this creepy murder backstory thing. And now it's the fan who realizes, oh shit, I'm in a lot of danger here. I gotta get out of this situation.
Yeah, that
and
could be interesting,
and the cops don't believe him because
he's broken into their house.
Because he's the stalker,
Yeah.
and here's like this beloved celebrity. Like, there's no way this guy's a crazy murderer or whatever.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You better copyright that idea.
Fred Durst, don't put up the Fanatic just yet.
Yeah, don't put up the...
You
You
can
are
still salvage this movie.
a year and a half too late.
Yeah.
It has been out for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen John Travolta look worse.
So...
I don't know if that's just old age or if that's like part of...
Here's kind of what I love about John Travolta. So, there's always lots of people, celebrities who fall into like this straight-to-streaming garbage dump of movies.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage does a lot of it. And Nicolas Cage, to choose, Travolta's face-off co-star here, Nicolas Cage does a lot of crazy acting in most of his movies, but every once in a while, you'll find one Nicolas Cage movie where he's just completely phoning it in. He does not give a shit.
Yeah.
John Travolta has never phoned in a performance a day in his fucking life.
Mm.
No matter how fucking terrible the movie is, whether it's Battlefield Earth or whatnot, he's always giving 110%.
Oh, yeah.
And in The Fanatic, oh boy!
Yeah.
He is, well, first of all, what's a bit of a problem is he's clearly playing someone who's maybe a bit autistic.
Okay.
It's never really outright stated, but you kind of get the feeling that his character, Moose, is not entirely
like the Archie
there.
character?
Yeah, this was the inspiration for him.
I see.
So yeah, he lives in Hollywood. He's obsessed with this one actor who's like a horror movie actor, and his day job is he's one of those greeters on the street outside of the theater.
Oh, like the Hollywood Boulevard Elmo kind of guy?
Yeah, but
like...
instead of Elmo or Darth Vader or someone you might recognize, Moose's brilliant idea is he's going to dress up like an English policeman with
a bobby?
Yeah, it's a bobby.
Yeah.
I got confused with the Beefeater, but yeah, he dresses up as an English bobby, and he puts on a terrible British accent. He goes up to people's all like, "Oh, the Marilyn Monroe is that way," and he thinks this is a genius idea because, the classic Hollywood English bobby. He's really not entirely there. But, the entire plot of The Fanatic is he keeps bothering this celebrity who's played by Devon Sawa, and then eventually he figures out where he lives, and he breaks into his house, and he does all kinds of crazy things
to him,
and really, there's not a whole hell of a lot more to say about The Fanatic. I think people really got excited about this one because the idea of John Travolta and Fred Durst making a movie together
was morbid curiosity more than anything.
And when it came out, I think most people kind of found it boring. And I found it boring. It's not really all that great.
Like,
sadly,
they're going for like a slasher thriller kind of vibe to it. It doesn't look scary. It doesn't look
not particularly.
No. The one thing I did like about that trailer, and at the very start, it attributes a quote.
Yes!
I know, like, some movie trailers, and they do that, but I've never seen it where they attribute a quote from the movie from one of the characters already in the movie.
Yeah. It's not even a particularly insightful quote. He just says...
kind of overestimating, like, how much people are going to actually enjoy this movie.
Yeah, you can't quote yourself. Now, I read a couple of reviews. I don't remember seeing this in the version that I watched, so I don't know if I got a different version or whatever, but there is a scene, apparently, in some versions of this movie where Devon Sawa, the action star or whatever, is driving in his car with his kid, and in a few minutes he's going to run into John Travolta and have an altercation with him. But just for this one moment, they're in their car and they're talking to each other, and he turns on the radio. What do you think comes on the radio?
Oh, a Limp Bizkit song.
Damn straight. It's all like, I love this band. This used to be my band. It's all
like a little Limp Bizkit. Like a little biscuit. Yeah? It's loud. I used to listen to it back in the day. Oh my God, that is nice. That is nice.
Come the fuck on, Fred Durst.
Oh shit, Limp Bizkit? Like,
this is the shiznit.
Rocking just as hard as they did back in the day.
It all for the nookie.
Yeah.
Dad, stop.
You keep rolling.
That's the perfect metaphor for this movie. Is someone who doesn't realize no one gives a shit about him anymore. Oh man. All right. Well,
what else we got, Kat?
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one. So sometimes you want to watch a movie because it has a really interesting plot. Sometimes you want to watch a movie because it's got some actors in it that you love and you really want to see them. Other times, the only reason you want to watch a movie is because it has the title, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
So how have you been? You look a little tired. What's bothering you? Things I could have done differently. Regrets. I shot someone during the war. I never wanted that, even if he had it coming.
You heard about the killings up north?
What's the FBI have to do with it?
Imagine all our worst fears about influenza in humans, bovine, swine, all of it coming true to life, only worse.
It's the Bigfoot, Ed. Kill him and kill it. He's the carrier of this lake type thing. Well, that's no good.
It could mean the very end of our world as we know it.
And not just Hitler, and then the Bigfoot.
And then the Bigfoot.
I mean, that clearly wins best movie title of the year, right?
Of the
decade.
Of my lifetime, probably. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, the title alone just seems like, this was a 9-year-old, or like a 7-year-old who's like writing a screenplay. Like,
it calls to mind like one of those old Roger Corman movies we were watching, like like the serpent and the sea with ate the jewel's heart or something. Yeah.
Crab demons from the deep and the beach babes or whatever.
So the most surprising thing about this movie is that this movie called The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot takes itself deathly seriously.
It looks like it does.
There's no wink to the camera at any point in this movie. It starts off with 10 minutes of him killing Hitler when he's a kid, when he's like a young soldier, and then midway through the movie, there's like a 10-minute sequence where he hunts down Bigfoot and then kills Bigfoot.
Only a 10-minute sequence?
And then it is an hour and 10 minutes of Sam Elliott being sad and depressed about his choices in life.
Jeez, I mean, first of all, that trailer was all over the goddamn place.
Right.
This is a guy who, I guess, like, killed Hitler during the war. Okay, cool. Now there's like this epidemic and it's being spread by
the Bigfoot.
And who's good enough to go after him? How about that old man who killed Hitler during the war? That's good enough for anyone.
If he killed Hitler, you might as well get him to kill the Bigfoot.
Let's not forget we have, I don't know, younger people probably still enlisted in the military that we could do this.
Did any of them kill Hitler?
They didn't.
They did. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Not to mention it's Sam Elliott.
Yeah, who's a badass.
Who's always badass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what else to say about this? It's really good. It's a really somber, depressing movie. I was really quite surprised because I assumed, given the title, that,
kind of like a Grindhouse kind of movie?
Yeah, a little bit. And I assumed, given the title, that, after, he killed Hitler really quickly. I thought the rest of the movie would be him hunting Bigfoot. No, he kills Bigfoot really quickly.
Yeah.
And then there's like...
So there is a Bigfoot in
There's
there.
like 25 minutes, and it's kind of a depressing Bigfoot too. It's like, he's kind of like a sickly Bigfoot. They kind of have like
it's not like a
tussle or...
It's not like a Nazi engineered Bigfoot.
No,
there's
there's no like flying pterodactyls or anything like that. No, it's a very grounded movie. It just has the weirdest title.
Man, I would go to like a midnight movie or something with a title like that, and then like be like just,
and then
this is taking it seriously. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. You know what this kind of reminded me of? You ever seen Barton Fink? Mm-hmm. You know how he's like this acclaimed playwright and he goes to Hollywood and we want you to write a wrestling picture, and he really struggles with how to do it, and so he turns in like this like what he considers like this really masterful and beautiful, endearing story about like a wrestler, and the movie studio just fucking rejects it because we just wanted a wrestling picture. What the hell is this? I imagine that's what happened to this.
This is the opposite of that situation.
Someone said like, hey, my 7-year-old wants the studio to just like make a, like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, like that was just an idea from his kids. So then the producers are like, hey, my kid came up with an idea, a movie title. Man Who Killed Hitler and the Bigfoot. Write me a screenplay on that. And they went to this acclaimed playwright for it, and he's like, I'm gonna weave straw into gold with a premise like this.
I like how in your mind you're thinking like, what's the 2019 equivalent of Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Hitler and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah.
All right, moving on. Have you got anything else to say about that?
No, that's it. That's all. That's
all right.
My piece.
Okay, before I talk about this next movie, I'm just going to give you a little peek into my childhood. Okay. So, we have these family friends. They're called the Appses.
Okay.
And my parents are friends with them, and me and my sister are friends with their daughter, Jamie, so we hung out a lot growing up. The Apps are very Christian.
Okay.
So whenever we hung out with them and we spent the night at their house, we'd consume a lot of Christian media, because that's all they watched over there.
Okay.
I believe at their house is the first and only place I saw the original Kirk Cameron Left Behind movie. Yes,
okay.
which they put on they said, this is fine for children, we'll watch this.
Mm-hmm.
I bring this up because the only non-Christian related piece of media I remember watching at the Apps house is a TV show called The Banana Splits. That's enough. That's enough of that.
All right.
All right. Now, the only reason I show you that is because in 2019, there was the Banana Splits movie.
What, like fucking 40, 50 years after the show premiered?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
However, it's not exactly what you might think.
Who's excited to see the Banana Splits? Yeah!
Rebecca, I'm canceling the show.
What? Where are the children?
Mom, get out of here! Why are you doing this to me? Now the show can go on forever and ever and ever.
Come on, you fussy son of a...
And that's the Banana Splits movie.
Why would the rights holders agree to this?
It's actually Hanna-Barbera owns the rights to
Why would they agree to this? I mean,
because why not? Who the fuck remembers this show outside of... I only have a passing remembrance of it.
Good God.
I'm sure there are hardcore Banana Splits fans. Okay, so...
Okay, somebody saw Five Nights at Freddy's and thought they could get the fucking rights to it.
So that's the thing. The theory about this movie anyway is that this used to be a spec script for a Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Right.
And for whatever reason, the rights for that fell through. So somebody was all like, what do we own? And someone's like, we have the Banana Splits. So the Banana Splits movie is the 4 costumed characters who are now robots for some reason. Being programmed a certain way and going on a massive killing spree after their TV show is canceled.
So there was none of the original cast members reprised their roles as, like, the dog?
I'm certain they're all dead.
Holy fuck. Ugh. I just feel sorry for anyone who was, like, you know, a young child back in the day and they were a fan and they're like, oh, they're finally making a Banana Splits movie and I get to relive my childhood and have a big nostalgia fest. And then they walk into that.
This is an interesting trend that's going around because I don't know if this movie started it, but it does seem to be carrying over into 2020 because in 2020 we're going to get the Fantasy Island movie, which is also a horror movie.
Yes, even though the show itself was more of like a high concept fantasy sci-fi show.
I'll be honest, I never watched it.
Oh, okay.
I just know it's about there's an island and you come on a plane because Tattoo's like the plane.
Yeah, everyone knows that one.
And I think they're like different guest stars every week, and then
Ricardo Montalban, like he kind of grants wishes, but there's like a twist, like a monkey paw aspect to it, where like
okay, so there's more of a
cautionary
horror element already kind of built in there,
but it was never meant to be scary. You know, it was more like a lighthearted Twilight Zone, I think.
Anyway, that movie was wild.
Yeah,
and,
really,
pretty terrible, but you could probably guess that, glean that from the trailer.
Mm-mm.
All right, what do we got next? Okay, cool. So one of my favorite movies of I'm not getting the year on, so I'm going to say 2016. One of my favorite movies of 2016. One of my favorite movies of this last decade. I think a severely underrated movie. Was a movie called Swiss Army Man.
Oh yes, with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
And, what's his name?
Paul
Dano.
Dano, yes, Paul Dano.
Welcome, Dano.
Who's going to be the Riddler?
Right. Yes.
In the new movie.
Mm.
Yeah. So and that's a movie about a guy who finds a corpse that has all these magical powers, has magical farting powers that can do all these amazing things. It was a beautiful movie. It was really sweet and really tender.
Mm.
It was about, like friendships and breaking down preconceptions of love and romance. It was really nice. It was really sweet. It was directed by 2 guys, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Okay.
Who built
Dan
themselves.
and Dan.
They actually built. If you watch that movie, it's credited.
They built like a life-size replica of Daniel Radcliffe. Like that's a dummy, right?
I think for most of it, it actually is Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh shit!
Doing all of the corpse stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, 2 Daniels, 3 Daniels technically, but if you watch that movie, they are credited. The movie is credited as a film by Daniels.
Okay,
which is actually quite cute.
That's very.
They do a lot of online video stuff. They do a lot of music videos. They shot the music video for "Turn Down for What." If you've ever seen that,
I've seen it.
That's good.
That's a good one.
They haven't done a follow-up to Swiss Army Man yet as a collaboration duo, but in 2019, Daniel Scheinert did his first solo movie, and it was a film called The Death of Dick Long.
Did you hear about the murders?
Huh?
Someone dropped this guy off from the ER.
Murderer? Who the fuck's a murderer? We're the fucking murderer!
Yes, we got a little carried away last night.
You know, dude, what they do in Pulp Fiction?
Carl Anthony Kiedis.
You're thinking of Harvey Keitel, Anthony Kiedis, the dude from Red Hot Chili
Shut the
Peppers.
fuck up.
You were with Dick last night.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, yeah, but like, just for like a little while. I left early.
He didn't come home. How did he die?
He fell on a table saw. He got shot by a hunter. Alcohol poisoning.
How did he die?
So that's a steamy little pot boiler about a couple of southern deep-fried
Good old
morons.
boy. Yes.
No, they truly are just two of the dumbest characters you've ever met.
Mhm.
And there's an evening of drunken revelry, and at the end of it, their good buddy Dick is grievously injured.
They accidentally kill him, and then they spend the movie trying to cover up.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
a real dark comedy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a very sort of Coen Brothers inspired.
Yeah, very Coen Brothers
They
looking.
cast a lot of interesting characters. You see in the trailer, there's the sheriff is this older lady, and I found out afterwards that that's actually the movie's costume designer, who is
Really?
not an actor.
Oh, really?
I thought that was really interesting.
She just had the
Yeah.
look that they
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah. Would you like to know how Dick died?
Sure.
A horse fucked him.
Oh!
These three dudes are horse fuckers.
Oh.
And it didn't go well for one of them.
I can't imagine it ever going well for anybody.
And again, kind of like Serenity, that's revealed in the middle of the movie. So we're aware for the majority of the film what happened to Dick. No one else is. And it's these two guys running around, not only trying to cover up the death of their friend, but trying to cover up their deep secret shame.
Okay.
And one of them is like married with a kid, and the other one is, Dale Gribble, and he's actually like not ashamed at all of the fact that he fucks horses. Or horses fuck him. I think that was the thing. I think the horse fucked Dick, and that's why he died. Because you shouldn't put that up there.
Alright, so now the title of this movie is starting to make me a little bit more annoyed, because I thought like, oh, well, that's just a cutesy little name that they're going to put in there. No, I didn't think that would actually fucking play into the actual plot. Good God.
So another weird one from this guy. I hope he teams up with the other Daniel soon.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a follow-up, but this was an interesting little diversion for him.
Well, I'm now a little disappointed that they don't kind of save that reveal to the end. Why the fuck did they blow that load? Why do they do that so early? It's
because it's a movie about horse fucking. It's not a movie about a mystery, it's a movie about horse fuckers.
Wow.
The title should be Horse Fuckers. Anyway, moving on. So, these next two movies have something in common. They are vanity projects from actors who want to be directors.
Okay.
Actors who decide to themselves, you know what, I can do that directing shit, that doesn't look super hard. And sometimes that works out great. You get Bradley Cooper, The Star is Born, Greta Gerwig, you get Jordan Peele. Other times, you get Greg Kinnear. With his
I was gonna say other times you get Tommy Wiseau, but alright.
Well, he's not so much an actor turned director as he is ethereal future caveman turned director.
Alright.
But
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear, who...
Very reliable
Sure,
actor,
likable. We'll go likable.
Sure.
I don't think anyone dislikes Greg Kinnear. But, Greg Kinnear in 2019 decided he was gonna direct a movie. And he directed a movie called Phil. Now, I'll show you the trailer for Phil, but before I do, I'm gonna tell you what the plot is to Phil.
Sure.
So Phil is about a depressed dentist named Phil.
Go figure.
Yeah, played by Greg Kinnear, who's having a midlife crisis, who stalks one of his patients, played by Bradley Whitford, who seems to have it all, but while following one night, the patient hangs himself.
Okay.
And then, long past the point where he should be leaving this family the fuck alone, he instead pretends to be a long-lost friend from Greece named Spiros. And he integrates himself into the family in a very, what I can only describe, a Sinbadian way. Integrates himself into this family, but, with more suicide.
Right.
So that was a story that Greg Kinnear absolutely needed to tell.
To flesh out his acting talent.
This is Phil.
Alright.
Michael Fisk was this guy who I thought had figured it all out. Then he killed himself. I need to find the reason why.
I need another drink.
I'm looking for a report on the death of Michael Fisk.
Your name?
My name is Spiros.
Spiros.
Spiros Papalapagabu.
How are you? How are you holding up?
There's so much to do here.
On top of everything, I've got to find someone to finish the bathroom.
Perhaps I help. I start tomorrow. Opa!
Opa.
Don't say opa.
So, Greg Kinnear clearly called in a bunch of favors for that one, because, that's a chock full cast. We got Luke Wilson, we got Robert Forster in what's gotta be one of his last roles.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
right before El Camino, yeah.
Yeah, so, what a weird premise, and kind of what are you doing? Invading these people's family.
I got a lot of questions to Greg Kinnear, like, did you go to Greece and you befriended a Greek gentleman and, just wish that he would hang around your life a little bit more? Do, people need more Greek men in their lives?
So, this is my question about this movie. This is what I don't understand. So, the name of the movie is Phil,
right?
Which is a very boring title. So, the plot of the movie is him pretending to be this character.
Yeah, Spiros.
Why the fuck is in the movie called Spiros?
Because the movie's about Phil.
I know, but
I know what you, I get,
it's the thing. It's like,
yes, I get what you're saying.
No one would have gone to see Mrs. Doubtfire if it was called
whatever
Daniel or whatever
Robin's
the fuck his
real
name was in that.
No, you're absolutely right.
And it's about that.
Yeah, I know, and I agree with you. But that is just not my only question and biggest question about the movie.
There's lots of questions about this movie. Why was it made?
Yeah.
Why, Greg Kinnear, was that the movie you decided you wanted to make?
I am going to integrate myself with this family, of this widowing family.
Yes.
But I'm ready to move on from
All right,
Phil.
let's
What
move
else
on to Phil. Well, okay.
How does it tie into this next one?
This next one is another one that's an actor turned director.
Oh, is it the original Greek movie, and then this is the North American remake of it?
No, we're not doing that.
Where a Greek fellow dies and a Greek man adopts an American persona to integrate with the family.
That movie would be called Spiros.
That would be Spiros.
Just to make things super confusing. You and I gotta start writing the spec script for
Absolutely.
Spiros right
Watch
now.
out, Hollywood. We're chock full of ideas. We're going to improve The Fanatic. We're going to improve Phil.
Two Phil, two Spiros.
Oh, boy.
All right. No, this is another actor-turned-director thing. It's interesting that you mentioned Barton Fink earlier, because any fan of Coen Brothers, I'm assuming, of course, you've seen The Big Lebowski.
Of course. It's one of my favorites.
Who are your favorite characters?
I love Walter. I love the dude. I got a partial spot in my heart for Donnie. I like them all.
Very cool. Are you a fan of The Jesus?
Of course. Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus. Are you aware of the fact that the Jesus is getting his own movie?
I heard about that, yes.
Alright, well here's the trailer for The Jesus Rolls.
Oh shit, I didn't even know it was out already.
Well here's the thing, this is a little bit of a cheat, is because this movie actually came out in 2019, but only in Italy. We're gonna get it in 2020.
Okay.
This trailer is completely in Italian with no subtitles, so enjoy!
Non mi creerò problemi. Jesus!
Stiamo bene insieme. Vero? Jesus Quintana, un'auto e dei contanti.
Non so se mi ricordo come si fa.
Even the Gypsy Kings!
Yeah, even the Gypsy Kings.
Even the Gypsy Kings
reprising their cover of Hotel California. There's Christopher Walken, John Hamm, Bobby Cannavale, Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, huge cast.
Great cast.
Once again, I think that's what happens when actors turn into directors, is they can really easily get all of their other friends into the project. This looks, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
It looks really good. Just as a fan of The Big Lebowski, I didn't think I needed to see a movie about Jesus' life. Before that,
The Jesus.
The Jesus.
Yes, that's very
excuse
important.
me.
Jesus is his last name.
Yeah, exactly. No, I liked him, his limited use in the movie, of The Big Lebowski, where, he was like the rival to the dude's team. Yeah. And, he has two scenes. He steals them. They're great. John Turturro is a great actor. He's had a number of numerous roles. I don't know why he felt a need to revisit this role, but I'm kind of glad he did.
What's interesting is that this is actually a remake, kind of going off of what we were talking about a few episodes ago. This was a remake of a French movie. It's called Going Places. Okay. And so I guess at some point in time, John Turturro took a look at that movie and said, I want to do that again, but with the Jesus, which is what we really wanted to do. Yeah,
Are the Coen brothers, did they give them the
Coen,
blessing for this?
All
or they
that
have
happened
nothing to do?
is the Coen brothers gave them their blessing. They are not attached to this movie. They said, sure, take the character and go wild with
because,
this.
like, as a big fan of the show Fargo, I could see, like, a lot of people from that show having some involvement in this and doing, like, little nods and tributes to the Coen brothers in there and like, making this work quite well. Have I told you my theory of The Big Lebowski?
Sure, go ahead.
It's a very minor theory, but the reason that Dude and Walter kind of like, keep Donnie around, even though like Walter's like very dismissive of him, because Donnie is the best bowler on their team. And they are nothing without Donnie.
That's right. Donnie's an amazing bowler.
He's the only one you see bowling.
Yeah, the only time he misses one of the pins is right before he has a stroke and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers for The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, Big Lebowski.
You should have seen it by now.
You should have seen it by now, my God.
Yeah. What did the Jesus do? He was a sex offender, right?
They imply that he was like into like kids. He was a pedophile.
Why is he getting a movie?
Yeah, that's kind of why. Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
8-year-olds, dude.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, when when he moved to Santa Monica, he had to go door to door and tell people that he was a pederast. What's a pederast, Walter? Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
This trailer shows him getting out of prison at the beginning, like Elwood Blues, and it's like, oh man, okay, maybe we shouldn't be celebrating this guy.
Partially why I'm like, I don't know if I needed to see him.
Maybe there'll be a scene in this where he like explains that like it was just all a misunderstanding.
He was set up or something.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. Oh, he was set up by the dude. No, the dude wouldn't do that.
The dude wouldn't have the ambition or the intelligence to pull something like that off.
The dude would just abide.
Absolutely.
He would just abide. All right, moving on. Before we talk about this movie, let's talk about an actual good movie that came out in 2019. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's really good. I enjoyed it.
I thought that was great too. Yeah, I don't know. Really, I think I need to see it again before I decide where it falls in the pantheon of Tarantino movies.
Yeah. Well, I decided like right away that it's not my favorite, but I'm really glad that I saw it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely his most casual movie. It's more of a hangout movie. It's got the lowest body count of any Tarantino movie. Only 3 people die.
4 if you count Brad Pitt's wife.
Right.
Implied.
Yeah, sure. That was implied. Yeah.
But no, like I thought it was a wonderful movie. I love Brad Pitt in it. Leo, of course, like he has his wonderful scene in that. Did you know that Burt Reynolds is going to be the guy who's bedridden?
Yep. Yeah. They replaced him as Bruce Dern, but that would have been Burt Reynolds' final movie.
Role,
but not quite. Yeah. That would have been something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so let's talk about the ending of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And so, okay, for those of you out there,
you know what that's the only thing I even though like the whole movie was a big build up to that scene.
Yeah.
You know what I would have loved at that movie, and like only Tarantino could have like pulled it off. So earlier in that movie, when Brad Pitt
hold on. I just want to say before you go into this, if you don't want the ending of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood spoiled, we'll include in the podcast notes where to jump ahead in the episode.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, just in case, because there are some people I'm sure who haven't seen it yet. Please, by all means, go ahead.
All right. So earlier in the movie, it shows that there is this incident between Brad Pitt and Bruce Lee, like on the set of this movie, where they just, like say like who's the better fighter between the two of them, and I think it kind of ends at a draw. I would have loved it if they had kind of just revealed that Bruce Lee is also a friend of Shannon Tate, and like he was next door during like that whole assault at DiCaprio's house.
And he shows up.
He shows up in the middle of that assault, and together they join forces and like fight off the Manson family, and then like, hey, we're buddies now.
And then it turns out that that was all a hallucination from the acid cigarette that he smoked. And
I would have loved it if like in the middle of this big fight, Bruce Lee shows up and finishes kicking their ass. Like,
so what you're saying
I would have loved that.
So what you're saying was it was a good movie, not enough Bruce Lee.
Not enough, like
not nearly enough.
They didn't go the full 9 in that revisionist history shit. Anyways.
So yeah, it's another revisionist history movie from Tarantino, much like Inglourious Basterds, and I guess kind of like Django Unchained, but more in the sense that something happens in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that we know for a fact it did not happen in real life, is that Brad Pitt was able to fight off, or Brad Pitt's character was able to fight off 3 people who killed Sharon Tate and her 3 other friends, and Sharon Tate lives at the end of the movie, and everyone's happy, and the Manson children all die, and it was kind of saw it coming. At the end of it, I kind of had like this feeling of all like, well, Tarantino, you've done this before, but still the package was good, and it was satisfying, and it was bloody as hell, so it was a good. I liked it. I
got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, someone actually beat Tarantino to the revisionist Sharon Tate Manson family film.
Really?
A full couple of months before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood hit, we got a movie called The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
This tape seems to
subliminal messages.
This person, these people, they're a threat to my safety and to the safety of my baby.
2019 was a weirdly big year for stuff about Manson. There was another movie, I believe it was called Charlie Says, that Matt Smith from Doctor Who played Manson, and also the guy who played Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the same actor who played Manson in the TV show Mindhunters. So it was a really big year for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can glean this from this trailer. The Haunting of Sharon Tate is a movie that takes a chunk from actual history, and apparently, according to reports, Sharon Tate, in an interview, did actually apparently foresee her own death. Or she gave an answer to a question that sort of alluded to the fact that she knew something bad
it was
going
like,
to happen
creepy.
to her. And the director of this movie
took that to heart.
And made an entire movie around that idea. And I won't tell you where to jump in the episode, because I'm going to spoil the ending of Haunting of Sharon Tate. I don't mind spoiling the ending of Haunting of Sharon Tate. Don't watch The Haunting of Sharon Tate. It's another revisionist thing because she gets these flashes of the people breaking in and killing them, and she uses that to her advantage. And
she has precognitive abilities?
Yeah, this is another movie where Sharon Tate survives the onslaught, and she lives and she saves all of her friends at the end of it. Now, so this movie is directed by a guy, he wrote Halloween 6, which, if you're familiar with that, is one of the worst ones. It got taken away from the director and the editing bay, and it got all chopped up, and they went back and they filmed some stuff, but by the time they went to go film some stuff, Donald Pleasance had died, so they had to work around that. It's the one where Michael is part of a cult where he has to have sex with his niece or something. Paul Rudd is in it. It's terrible. It's unsalvageable. And then after he wrote that, the director of this, he went on to have a weirdly big career in horror documentaries. In particular, he directed Crystal Lake Memories, which is just sort of everyone who's ever worked on a Friday the 13th movie come together and
talk about
like
the legacy and like the filmmaking process of it and everything.
Boy, he should have stuck to making documentaries about horror movies, because when he makes a horror movie, it is easily
it's really bad.
Not only just like badly done in structure, but just poor fucking taste. Like really.
So going after or doing that revisionist history on Sharon Tate. I think when you do like a lot of documentaries on a subject like Friday the 13th, maybe you should kind of pick up a few of the lessons that the filmmakers still on, or like life lessons that they talk about it, and then like maybe go back to your film directing itself and like apply some of those lessons that you learned if you spent that much time on it. So I don't know exactly when Tarantino announced Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I gotta imagine this smells like we gotta get that revisionist title out there before he puts out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He was like an assistant or something that got to look at the script before he went to casting. He's just all like, we gotta capitalize on this.
So we can claim plagiarism against Tarantino.
We gotta capitalize on that hot Sharon Tate action that's going on. I watched this the other day because this was on. I want to take a moment here to just say, all you people who are listening, I hope you appreciate all that I fucking do for you. Because it's like, it is like movie roundup time for me. I am trying to see like all the stuff that I didn't get a chance to see. I haven't seen Marriage Story. I haven't seen Uncut Gems. No.
You're watching a lot of shit.
I spent my free time watching The Haunting of Sharon fucking Tate, and I did it for you.
Having a miserable time.
I hope you appreciate that.
Without me or anybody else here to riff along with you. You poor bastard.
So you might think, or you would hope, anyway, that the director of this movie might have learned his lesson on this one and has moved on to more sensible, non-disgusting topics.
Right.
You would think that you would be wrong, because 2 days ago, he released his latest movie, The Killing of Nicole Brown Simpson.
Oh no.
Which is somehow even more in poor taste, because, Sharon Tate's sister is still alive, and obviously people are capitalizing on her death. Lots of the people who are related to Nicole Brown and Ron Coleman are still walking around, so that, I didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about that, but I have read a review of The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson, and if you can believe it, it actually gets even crazier from here. So it seems like this movie, this Nicole Brown Simpson movie, is his screenwriting of this movie goes off of two different conspiracy theories. So in this movie, OJ isn't the killer. It's going off of the conspiracy theory about Glenn Rogers, who was a serial killer known as the Casanova Killer. And there's a theory going around that he's the one that did it because he was in the area at the time. His brother has said, it's definitely my brother. My brother definitely killed him, and he killed him for these reasons. There's documentaries. I'm sure you can see it on YouTube or whatever. But the other thing that it goes off of is that when OJ was interviewed, he said when he went to Nicole Brown's house that night, he went with another friend. The friend that he went with, according to OJ, was named Charlie.
Okay.
So, the Nicole Brown Simpson movie seems to posit that the man who killed Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman was eked on by the spirit of Charles Manson, who I remind you was still alive at the time that these murders
Incarcerated
happened.
but alive, yeah.
So, this guy is creating this
astral projection of Charles Manson going around.
He's creating
influencing
the Charles Manson murders innocent women cinematic universe.
Is OJ a producer on this movie?
You gotta imagine that
he's
like an executive producer or something.
Yeah, it's not me. It's gonna be either this one guy or the astral projection of Charlie Manson.
Charlie Manson killed Nicole Brown Simpson. Clearly that's what happened.
Fuck.
Oof. Okay, one final thing about The Haunting of Sharon Tate before we move on.
Tell me this thing.
I swear that I didn't do this on purpose. I just found this out after I looked up the cast list. This actress right here, who plays Sharon Tate's friend, Patty Hearst's daughter.
No way. Wow.
It keeps coming up. Patty Hearst, you need to leave us alone.
These connections that you are making, how deep of a rabbit hole are you been going down lately?
It's like the cast list came up. The cast list came up and it's like someone Hearst. I'm all like, no, it can't be. Yep, sure fucking is.
My God, yikes.
Alright, let's move on. I'm gonna talk about a couple of movies and they all are kind of related, based on who's starring in them. There are two actors in 2019 that had really interesting careers. Their careers went in very different directions than you think they would go based on what we know them for. What are your feelings on Jim Gaffigan?
The comedian?
Yes.
I've never really paid much mind to his stand-up, but he seems like a good family friendly comic.
Famously PG-rated stand-up comic Jim Gaffigan, known for Hot Pockets and things like that.
He's had a couple of he's been in a couple of commercials. He's been a couple of walk-on bit roles on sitcoms and stuff. I've never really paid him much mind. He's just
2019 is the year that Jim Gaffigan decided he was going to take a stab at being a serious actor. And it's no more apparent than in this movie called American Dreamer.
You can't miss your child support payments. You won't just lose visitation with your son, you will go to jail.
Is this the world we live in, where a father can't even see his own son?
Sir! Whoa, whoa!
Ow! It's okay. I promise, I won't hurt you. Is everything okay?
Somebody took something from me.
Put the gun away, they're gonna call the cops!
What's going on?
Everything's gonna be okay.
That's certainly against type.
Yes, the dark and gritty Jim Gaffigan that we've been wanting since the very beginning.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, Jim Gaffigan running around, kidnapping a drug dealer's kid and trying to get more money out of him. Yeah.
Yeah, at the start I thought it was is this sort of like an update on Collateral, but that took a turn I didn't think it was.
I don't know, I haven't heard anything about this movie. I don't know whether it's good, I don't know whether it's bad, but
it looks interesting.
It looks interesting. It's just an odd movie for Jim Gaffigan to star in.
And that's just plays into the legacy of these prolific comedians that want to try some serious drama, because when
he's having his insomnia moment where
when you play in that comedy realm for so long, you kind of want to show the world that you're more than just a clown or a joke. A lot of comedians don't go that route, but sometimes they want to give it a shot and so that there's more weight and depth to them that they provide. So
I mean,
I don't fault him for wanting to give it a shot.
I think the interesting thing about him is that most comedians want to try that, but most comedians don't censor themselves. Jim Gaffigan is famously clean. He doesn't swear. He doesn't tell sex jokes.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, he's like a Tim Allen. He's like the dad next door.
Yeah.
So to see him turn dark and gritty is really strange.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what kind of, like, dark recesses of his mind he actually has.
So yeah, he was in a ton of movies this year. I just looked it up on IMDb. He was in no less than 7 movies in 2019.
Wow.
And, like, some of them include, he was in a cult movie called Them That Follow, and he was in an indie ghost story called Light from Light. It's a ghost movie, but it's not a scary ghost movie. He plays a guy, his wife dies, and then he hires, like, a psychic to help him kind of, like, contact with his wife. So it's kind of like a ghost romance story.
Okay.
And he was also...
Like Ghost?
I suppose. There we go, yeah. There we go. And he was also in this movie, very strange movie, called Above the Shadows.
I'm not letting you back in.
Wait,
Stay away from me.
I can't. You're the only person who can...
Who can what?
I'm invisible.
Right.
I need you to believe me.
Get out of the street. I'm the only guy in the whole world who can see you. What am I supposed to do with that?
I think we're supposed to help each other.
Alright, so that's... What is that even about?
Holy shit.
Alright.
So that is an episode of Heroes, Tito Ortiz's acting debut.
Yeah. So, Above the Shadows appears to be about a movie about a young woman who, after the death of her mother, becomes invisible and just lives invisible for however many years until she becomes an adult, until one day she meets a random MMA fighter.
Yeah, a former MMA fighter.
Who's the only person who can see her, and the only way she can become visible again is if she helps this random dude.
Yeah.
That appears to be the plot of this movie. That's what I can suss out.
Yeah,
this looks bizarre.
That looks strange as all hell. Yeah, what are those others, like, what is that, what's that genre called where, like, a ghost, like, to pass on to heaven, like, they have to do, like, their unfinished business.
They gotta get their unfinished business, but she's not dead. She's just invisible.
I bet the twist is she had died in that car accident, and and for some reason, like, that...
She didn't die in a car accident.
Her mom did, but she
died
was in
of cancer.
Oh, okay.
Because she was in the wheelchair with the thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think there was a car accident. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't care. God, but, like, how disappointing would it be if she just ended up dead?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's the easy way out.
And then this random, like, former MMA fighter, like, just happens to be the one who sees her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
just like, I need to get your career back on track, but I also need you to not hook back up with your ex, played by Megan Fox.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think is a better actress that she gets credit for, but...
So, since we're talking about Megan Fox, did you find it surprising that Megan Fox had a movie that came out in 2019?
Yeah, I thought she kind of retired from acting to, like, become an archaeologist or something.
What would you say if I told you she had 3 movies that came out in 2019?
Oh, okay, well, she needs money, I guess.
Well, everyone needs to eat.
Yeah,
so,
girls gotta eat.
Another movie that she is in is this movie called The Battle of Jang Sari.
I'm sorry?
Jang Sari. I'll just put this on. Oh, I'm sorry. This appears to be some sort of Taiwanese war movie. You know what, let's just watch this, see what happens.
Is Megan Fox gonna pop up sooner or later?
I don't know.
Yes.
Those kids don't know they're on a suicide mission, do they?
Okay. I don't really have much to say about that. I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, Megan Fox shows up randomly for one scene in a blonde wig.
In this Taiwanese war movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really do need to start watching more foreign war movies to, like, cause I'm watching, like, a lot of North American war movies. Yeah, I need to know from the other perspective. Why the hell not, right? Yeah, it's weird to see her in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I just imagine the situation where you're just in an art house or something. You're watching a bunch of, like, foreign film trailers, and then, like, this one comes on, and you're just not prepared to see, and Megan Fox.
Yeah.
That would be the weirdest. I just got whiplash. Just being like, ow, what?
Whoa.
Alright, well, the third movie that
I got really nothing else to say about that movie.
I really
it looks
don't
like
either.
a fine war movie.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the real life battle of Jang Sari.
If that's even how you say Jang Sari, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll wait for the reviews.
Sure. So this is the movie that I really wanted to talk about. Okay. Now, I really debated whether or not we should do just a full episode on this.
I was gonna say, like, there's been a couple of these movies that would make fine episodes of The Fuck Is This?
Yeah. Alright, let me set the scene for you. So it was earlier this year at the Vancouver Film Festival, and I went to see The Lighthouse.
Oh, yes, that was
which
it.
is amazing. Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies of the year. Can we just, like, give Willem Dafoe the award for, like, greatest living actor? Like, holy shit, he's fucking phenomenal in that. He's so good. And, I left. I thought that was a terrific movie. And as I was heading home, I'm like, you know what? My itch hasn't been scratched. I want to watch another movie. So I went on my phone and I took a look around the movie theaters that were near me, and I found one movie that I had never heard of before that only had one showing at 9:15 p.m.
Oh, boy.
And it was a movie called Zeroville.
There's a secret movie that's been hidden in all the movies ever made. Who made it? Who put it there?
What are you doing in Hollywood?
The movies.
Oh, the movies.
You recognize her? Valley of the Dome. She's married to Roman Polanski. Repulsion. Knife in the water. Rosemary's Baby.
I got an idea about this. Great white shark that terrorizes a town, like in New England.
Robot shark. Robot. What is wrong with you? How's everything gonna be a damn robot? You two can't make movies together anymore. No sharing ideas.
This is a very weird movie.
So yeah, in a podcast about weird movies, it was inevitable at some point we were going to have to talk about James Franco.
Yeah, I admire the fact that, like, he makes work for his friends, and I think the
he's
dream,
got all of his buddies in here.
I think the dream is to, like, do something creative with all your friends.
But he continuously does. So for those of you who don't know, James Franco has like 41 directing credits.
Mhm.
This dude is crazy. What he does in his downtime from starring in big Hollywood blockbusters is he gets his famous friends together and he'll adapt something weird. He does a lot of literary adaptations. He's directed a lot of stuff based on like Steinbeck and James Joyce and stuff.
Yeah.
And he does
And
them
also-
all on the cheap and
also stuff that he just, like, comes up with off the top of his head, right?
Yeah. And just like other weird projects. So, Zeroville is this movie. It's based on a novel, and I wrote down from memory what the plot of Zeroville is. So I'll try and run through what it is here. He plays this guy. He plays according to the novel, he plays a 24-year-old architecture student. James Franco is 41.
Yeah. I mean, he's still like a young, attractive-looking dude, but he is not 24.
He does not look like he's in his 20s. He's very much looks his age now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he plays like this architecture student who knows next to nothing about the film industry, but he's inspired to move to Hollywood after he sees the movie A Place in the Sun. And he's so inspired by that movie that he does the totally normal thing of shaving his head and getting a tattoo of Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift on the back of his head. So,
yeah,
that is in every scene.
Yeah.
You have 41-year-old James Franco with a tattoo on the back of his head with his porno stash being super weird and awkward in every scene, and everyone in the movie finds him charming as hell.
I was gonna say
that is the first thing that's off about this movie.
But something about, like, this guy just spoke to James Franco and said, like, yes, I identify with this character and I must, like, portray him in film. His story must be told, and it must be told through me.
So it's him going around Hollywood. He becomes best friends with a character named Viking Man, who's played by Seth Rogen, of course. So, we got a little Pineapple Express reunion here. Viking Man is supposed to be a very thin pseudonym for John Milius. Because at one point in time, they go to work on a movie, says, hey, come be the editor on my movie, and then they go to the movie, it turns out the movie's Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, why, I don't know why, this guy is like an actual guy who existed, there's like, he has a filmography, he's still alive, but yeah, no, in this movie, he's Viking Man, and he's Seth Rogen, and he's going around and he's drinking whiskey.
Gotcha.
And he falls in love with Megan Fox, who's this young starlet, and he tries to be with her, and be in a relationship with her, and he constantly has to fight for her affections with a Hollywood producer who is played by an uncredited Will Ferrell.
Oh, wonderful. He wasn't even in the trailer.
He wasn't even in the trailer. For some reason, I think Will Ferrell's in all these terrible things. I think this is the one where he called James Franco and said, don't put me in any of the promotional material.
Yeah, I'll do this, but leave my name out of it.
But the thing is like, when the movie starts, the first image you see is Will Ferrell. So it's like, that was the first, like, swerve for me sitting in the movie theater going, not knowing anything about this. I'm all like, oh, okay, here's like the cast. That's Will Ferrell. That's the first one that pops up. It's all, he's not even on the trailer. He also gets 2 musical numbers.
Wonderful.
And yeah, God, yeah. What else happens in this? And like, there's...
Well, Danny McBride's in it and he looks like a detective?
I don't know if you could...
Is he playing a cop?
I don't know if you could tell from that trailer. Danny McBride is in one scene of the movie.
Okay.
That's why
even though he gets credited.
Every time he's in...
He's in less scenes than Will Ferrell, but he gets
Ferrell's
credited.
a prominent supporting character.
Okay, yeah.
Danny McBride is in that one scene in the movie. It's funny how they cut the trailer together. It's like, James Franco, here's a shot from this angle, here's a shot from this angle, Megan Fox, oh, this scene from the movie.
Craig Robinson's in there.
Yeah.
Does he sing?
Danny McBride, no, that's a missed opportunity.
Well known for his singing. Alright.
Danny McBride is in that one scene, and the trailer is cut so that his 3 different scenes, it's just him from different angles from that one scene in that one room.
Jeez.
This is yet another movie where, right at the very beginning, James Franco hits Hollywood. He's merely scooped up because he's a drifter, and Danny McBride plays this cop who tries to frame him for, what else? The murder of Sharon Tate.
What?
So, yeah, yet another movie that covers this.
Good
this fucking...
God.
It's enough of the Sharon Tate stuff. We're good. We're all filled up.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's some nonsense about Franco discovering that there's a secret movie that exists in every movie that's ever existed.
Made, yeah.
If you go through, because he learns how to be an editor in the movie, and he finds this secret movie, but the thing is, the secret movie stars Megan Fox's character. So in every movie that's ever been, if you look at the original of every film,
that her character has been in?
There is one frame of Megan Fox in every movie that's ever been made, and he tears apart all these movies and he tries to build the movie together, and yeah, it's a weird fucking movie.
Jesus.
I thought briefly maybe we should cover it, but you know what? There are even stranger Franco movies out there that I think maybe one of these days we'll cover.
We'll get into.
Eventually.
All right.
Yeah. And finally, to move on, to start wrapping this thing up, I'm going to show you 4 trailers really quickly.
Okay.
That is part of, I guess, a segment within this segment that I'm going to call TFIT, Where Are They Now?
Okay.
Where we're going to look back at some of the actors that have adorned the movies that we've covered, and I'm going to show you what they did in 2019.
Excellent.
So, going on...
Wow, some of them are still working. Good for them.
Yeah, some of them are still working.
I mean, some of them have been, like, recognizable names, so of course they're still working. Others,
So, going all the way back, once again, to reach me, we got our old buddy, Teddy Raymond, Tom Berenger.
Yeah.
You know what's really popular right now, Jameson? Superhero.
I was going to say Sharon Tate movies.
Oh, sorry.
Superhero movies, yes.
Superhero movies.
Yeah, they haven't been popular now. They've been popular for like the last 20 years.
That's
now.
correct.
Yeah.
You know what's always funny? Old people.
Yes.
You know what's a surefire hit?
Old people as superheroes.
Damn straight, this is supervised.
Are you famous?
Sure I am.
Then how come I haven't heard of you?
I love you.
Can I get your autograph?
Oh, sure. Oh, just shoot me now.
Wow.
Ooh.
Indeed.
You know, that reminds me of, like, in the pre-YouTube days when a lot of people would just, like, put out, like, fan, like, trailers for fake movies.
That does feel like...
That is, like, a very,
yeah, that
like...
feels like a 3-minute comedy clip.
Yeah, not meant to be a real movie.
It's everything you think it is. It's, one of them has super farts. That come on fire out of his ass. Yeah, so it's, Tom Berenger and his old buddies, Beau Bridges, and Louis Gossett Jr., who in 2019
It was in Watchmen.
Who also played an old superhero.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Did you see that?
I did. I really liked it.
God, that was a good.
I was waiting for you to ask me, what are you into these days? And I was going to talk about Watchmen.
I was going to bring up Watchmen as well. Watchmen is fucking dope.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a better Watchmen movie than the Watchmen movie was, I think.
And you know what? I can already tell you, it's better than fucking Supervised.
Yeah,
just by looking at that.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to say about that movie is that that was directed by Steve Barron, who directed the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh.
Yes.
Like the first one?
Yes, the first one.
With the rubber suits? Oh.
Yeah, the good one.
Oh.
Yep. He also directed Coneheads, and he directed 2 of probably the most well-known and well-loved music videos of all time, Money for Nothing and Take On Me.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so...
Well, they're huge visual spectacles, those ones.
Yeah. So a bit of a dip in his career, but it happens to everybody. He might have accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish, but...
How fitting that this is a movie about retired superheroes, and here is a superhero who's kind of, past his prime and doing shit like this. I don't fucking know. I got nothing.
Speaking of past his prime... Even though this next person is someone that I love, he's not past his prime, but he's in a movie about people who are past his prime.
Okay.
Let's check out what Danny Trejo is doing with
Don't you dare say that he is past his
He is
prime.
not.
He
He
is
will
always in his prime. The older he gets, the stronger he gets.
That's correct, yes. No, he will track me down, and he will, we'll have a pleasant afternoon conversation, because he's actually a lovely gentleman. But Danny Trejo is one of those people who says yes to every single script that's handed to him, and that's none more apparent with this movie that he made in 2019, Grand Daddy Daycare.
Oh.
Welcome to your new home, Dad.
Daddy, just want you to feel welcome.
It's Eduardo, not Eddie.
I just got an idea. Why doesn't she invite some friends over here tomorrow?
What, you want me to take care of a house full of Eduardos?
Thank you so much for watching that all day.
That's no problem.
Here, at least take 100. The senior home charge is 300.
I got it all figured out. Granddaddy daycare.
Do we need to watch the rest of that?
No,
I don't know.
got it.
You know,
I got the gist
halfway
of it.
through, and I'm all like, you know what? I don't even want to watch the rest of that. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, we are big Danny Trejo fans, but like, when your only get as a principal cast member is Danny Trejo, like
Barry Bostwick was in that.
Oh, the mayor from Sin City and
Rocky Horror. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, but it's if those are your only two gets, then maybe maybe less so. Anyway, less said about that. Let's move on. Yeah,
is this other one going to be about old people or Sharon Tate or Megan Fox?
No more Sharon Tate movies.
All right.
More Sharon Tate movies. We're really close to the end, so I'm going to breeze through that.
Here we go.
Okay, so you'd think that after last hour, Michael Madsen and Paul Sorvino would have learned their lesson about starring in awful crime movies.
Did Paul Sorvino get out? Did he get his like?
Paul Sorvino didn't get out, man. They pulled him back in, and he brought Michael Madsen with him. This is Welcome to Acapulco.
Did they say Acapulco?
Mi amor, no. Sorry, guys. Can I borrow my fiancé?
Fiancé?
Do as I say, or we're both dead.
Run!
I need to get you someplace safe.
Who are you? Who are they? What the hell do they want with me?
Get the courier and bring him back to me. There was an unknown quantity with him. A woman.
So yeah, I don't really have too much to say about that either. It was just a terrible looking crime movie that also starred Paul Sorvino and Michael Madsen, so I thought I'd show you that.
That looked to me like just like a Smoking Aces type movie with like some mistaken identity elements to it, which I think could be an okay premise for a movie. But like we've seen enough of these kind of movies to know that like that's probably going to be like super boring and tedious and annoying.
Just continues to raise the question: is like, who are these movies for? I know this is why we have this podcast, but like, really, why did they all get together and say, yeah, sure, welcome to Acapulco, sure, yeah, we'll do that.
Probably
we'll do this one.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of like it was a decent enough script that the studio was like, you know, let's just buy the rights to it. Yeah. And, like, just see what happens. We'll get around to it eventually.
Reminds me kind of, I don't think this was a movie a lot of people saw, but did you see that movie Gringo?
Well, with Mel Gibson? No, I haven't.
No, that's Get the Gringo.
Oh, Get the Gringo
had Charlize Theron and David Oyelowo, and it was another one where it's like a guy with a mistaken identity goes to, like, a Latin country and, misadventures and people shoot guns and people die. And,
okay. Oh, so this movie isn't even an original premise.
Oh, God, no! There's like 12 of these fucking movies, man.
I mean, I only really know of like the Spy Who Knew Too Little, and that was it.
That's a solid.
That's
movie.
a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, good Bill Murray classic. And finally, to bring us on home, this last movie is a total cheat. It's not even from 2019, but I had to show you because I can't think of any other opportunity where we would ever even talk about this. So in Mosquito Man, Parker Lewis star and lost Star Wars character Corin Nemec tried to take down a half man, half animal mutant hybrid that was running amok and murdering people.
How could I forget?
So in this movie that I'm about to show you, Corin Nemec plays the half man, half animal, horrible thing to going around and killing people.
I see, the monster he's become.
Take 3 guesses, pick the 3 stupidest animals he could possibly turn into.
Well, stupid is a strong word, but as far as like kind of like non-threatening, let's say, I know they're poisonous, but a platypus, they're kind of silly looking.
Alright.
Yeah. A starfish. They seem very non-threatening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not terrifying, though. If you flip a starfish over, a starfish is very scary.
Yes, but they're also very, like, somewhat slow moving. So.
Sure.
And, I don't know, just a corgi, like a cute little dog, lap dog.
Good choices, good choices. Not too bad. The answer, of course, I was looking for was a rabbit. This is Rotten Tail.
It's not Peter anymore. It's Rotten Tail now. I am a rabbit man. I mean, not like a rabbit man, but a rabbit man.
There is no such thing as a money man.
Kill the rabbit. Bring me his brains.
I mean, can you believe that exists?
You know,
I mean, Corin Nemec was in some movies in 2019, but as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, I have to show Jameson this.
Yeah.
Man, and again, like the other movie, I debated whether or not to show you this or whether or not to see if I could find this, because if I could find this, I was thinking we would just invite Zach back and show this. I can't find this movie anywhere though, so.
More weird animal hybrids. You know, like, okay, I hate to be like a real stick in the mud about this kind of thing, but all of these like kind of self-aware, like, oh, we know we're making a bad movie, kind of bad movies. I can't really stomach these.
No.
I like bad movies that were kind of like made with like a bit of earnestness.
Sure.
And they kind of just like turned out shit. But when these are like, hey, we know that this is gonna be a silly, like, ugly costume and we're gonna have like all these like pre-written, really obvious jokes for it, like, no, that's not really my bag.
The trick is to take a ridiculous concept and do it somewhat seriously. You know, Mosquito Man kind of took itself seriously. Another good example is maybe like Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
That's a movie that has a ridiculous premise and a ridiculous world and everyone's overacting like crazy.
Yeah.
But it takes it to heart the message of the movie.
No, like, everyone in this production, like, kind of knew, like, I could see, like, the Kickstarter trailer for this one. I could see, like, they knew that we're gonna make, this is, like, for a midnight movie crowd, this is, like, for, like, a slasher, small budget, like, I think there's a couple of these in Vancouver, and I don't wanna, like, I don't wanna poo-poo these guys or anything, because, like, they are talented.
We might run into them.
We might run into them, like, we may know some people who do that. But no, like, this just, no, a little too on the nose, kind of.
Too on the nose. Alright, well, forget about Rotten Tail.
Yeah.
There you go. Everything that I've just shown you, there it is, Jameson. That is the cream of the crop. That is the weirdest films of 2019. What did you think?
Well, thank you for having me over. This was this was an exhilarating experience.
And I can tell you one thing. I didn't watch all of them. I didn't see.
You've seen a few of them though, which I'm impressed by.
I saw quite a bit of them. I saw too many of them. To be frank, some of them was one movie too many. But out of all of the weird shit that happened this year, out of all of the bizarre plots, out of the weird casting decisions, nothing was weirder than Cats. Nothing was weirder than Cats, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna show you the trailer for that.
We've all seen it.
We've all seen it, but boy, that movie delivered.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You know, like I've never seen the original Cats, but I've heard like a few of the songs, and I saw like some videos of like the Broadway production.
Yeah, that was the extent of me too.
It looks like a odd fucking play. What is it? It's Lloyd Webber?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber did the music, but then all of the lyrics are from a collection of poems by T.S. Eliot that have already existed. So he was taking lyrics that already existed and tried to make songs around them.
Yeah, and had it pertain to cats.
And one thing that's very apparent for someone like me who was watching that movie for the first time is that poems don't make good songs all the time. Sometimes poems are poems.
Yeah. They weren't meant to be set to music or have like a rhythm to it. Yeah, I don't know thing one about Cats. It didn't, like, I've only seen like, I'm not super into musicals. I consider Blues Brothers a musical.
It is.
And that's what I consider to be a good musical. The South Park movie to me is a musical I will watch.
Great musical.
The Producers is a musical I will watch. But other than that...
Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny, one of the best original musicals of the past, 2 decades.
Exactly. But stuff like Broadway, like Rent, like that's, I don't know, that's not really my scene, per se.
Yeah.
So like the traditional classic Broadway stuff, like I don't know that world enough.
Look, man, I'm a musical guy. I grew up listening to musicals. I do musicals. I'm tentative at best when it comes to Andrew Lloyd Webber, and even people who love Andrew Lloyd Webber don't really like Cats all that much. But, like, I'm sure there are some Cats apologists out there.
Wasn't it like the longest running Broadway play? And it was on for, like, why?
I think the only thing that's ever beaten it is Phantom.
Yeah.
Another Webber one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no man, Cats delivered. Cats was truly one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. I really love the fact that that was the last movie I saw in theaters, not just of 2019, but of this decade. I'm glad that that was my last experience, because it actually was a great experience. I've never been in a situation where after...
Were you high?
No, I wasn't, because I've read reviews specifically say, whatever you do, don't get high before you see this movie. It's a bad time! And yeah, no, I can totally see that happening. But, rarely has this ever happened where once the movie was over, first of all, the audience was loving it. The audience was killing themselves laughing. People were shouting out things. This is a midnight movie for sure.
It's like a future classic.
This is gonna be like the next Rocky Horror, I guarantee it. If you can get through occasionally how boring it gets, because there are sections where it is just dull. You give it time, eventually something fucking weird will happen, man. And that's pretty consistent. But rarely have I ever exited a movie theater after it was over, and I immediately started talking and engaging with the strangers around me. We all needed to decompress and talk about what we just saw. It was wild.
It's like being like in trench warfare with somebody. Like you form these bonds with like the people that you've been through the thick with.
I genuinely enjoyed Cats more than I enjoyed The Rise of Skywalker. And I did not think I would be in that situation. Let me tell you, I had a better time watching that than I did that last Star Wars movie. Cool boy. Alright, well, we hope you enjoyed this, sort of a bonus episode of, The Fuck Is This? I'm looking at the time frame. This is not a shorter episode. This is exactly our regular length. Next week, we're back to basics, with a very cool guest. Jameson in this, early days.
Would you recommend any of these trailers?
Go watch all these trailers. No, in the early days of, 2020, what are you into? You want to tell any, I feel like we've talked so long about so many other things. You don't really need
I mean, like I did mention that, like I marathon through all of Watchmen, which I absolutely, I really loved it. I kind of hope that they don't do a season 2.
They say that they don't want to, and I think that's
I don't know where else they can go.
No, I think that's a smart idea, and I also think Damon Lindelof has learned that quit while you're ahead. Because all of his shit has been all like, oh, how am I going to wrap this up? And he never sticks to landing. I think he has something good here, and I think he's all like, gun run, time to go.
I think they did like as a great justice to it, and like I think they took like as many ideas as they could from the book and like just twist them around to a new story. I liked it. I really did.
Cool. I did too. That's our joint recommendation. Go watch Watchmen, and then to cleanse the palate, go watch Supervised. All right. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Back to basics next time, and we'll see you later.
Bye, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, all.